Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to join us with this Uncover the Ancient Chinese Wisdom for Modern Day. Last night, we traced the origin of the Chinese culture and how Chinese want to be reconciled with heaven through the great ceremonies and through the Son that was incarnated to this world. Now today we're going to move to a new subject. Can we have the PowerPoint so we can move on? We're going to talk about the ancient yet ever fresh wisdom for health. You know, as the Chinese, and you would know, I guess we have some issues here. All right. If you want to see what Chinese really like, and this one word says it all, we want blessings. One word would include everything we want. Fu, we want blessings. We want 100. It doesn't look like it's going to work. I think this one is missing, and we need to put it there. So we are trying to make a connection between the ancient to the modern day, and also we need to connect this as well. So we want to have a 100-fold blessings. And every time when the Chinese New Year comes, you would see that blessings, 5 blessings on every door, and even the blessing is upside down, indicating blessing has arrived. However, without health, you cannot enjoy blessing. So health has become such an important issue in the Chinese thinking. Now, in the ancient times, only the emperor is entitled to enjoy at least the wish for 10,000 years. And we say, 万岁, 万岁, 万岁. You cannot call yourself 10,000 years. Only the emperor can do that. So health become number one. They say health is not the most important thing. Health is the only thing. And the Chinese have some saying, very interesting. They say, if you have millions of dollars, you only need to eat 3 meals a day. If you have many mansions, you only have 1 bed for the night. You have many sons, they belong to your daughter-in-laws. You have many daughters, they belong to your son-in-laws. You have wealth, belongs to someone else, but health belongs to you. Health is yours. You have to keep it. So health is very important. This is how we have some words to describe, give you a vivid picture. What does health look like? Now here is one word, and we can, it looks like it's not going to work again. But anyway, here is a word for 剑. It means you have a person with like an arrow and then like a brush pen. Brush pen is kind of soft. If you can open a bow that is strong. So a person can be both soft and strong. That's healthy. And then we have another word, 康, 健康. Kang is another picture showing the grains. The grains is falling and like this. You know, like this. You are working on it, and then the shells get rid of it, and then the grains nourish the body and make you healthy. And if you can do this, that means you're healthy. Now today we don't do that anymore. We just buy rice. And now these are some of the words that indicating what health actually is. Now the Chinese is famous for 养生之道. This is hard to translate. You cannot say this is the way of health. We have a kind of sense to say the health needs to be nurtured. It's not only preserved. You need to nourish your health, nurture the health. And all of this in this 养生 in the Chinese word, I couldn't find the good English. Maybe you have it, maybe you don't. I mean, that's not in my dictionary anyway. I haven't learned it. And this is, Chinese is very careful about how to keep your health. And have you seen this in the morning? They come out and they do this Tai Chi. Huh? I think Pastor Samuel Wang is pretty good at it. And if anyone want to learn, go and talk with Pastor Matthew Yuan, and he will teach you how to do Tai Chi. You have to be very careful about your body movement, and your eyes follow your hands and your concentration. So it's not just a slow movement. It's actually pretty. It moves the whole body, especially the mind. And if you look at this picture, you can see the workout and the nurturing life, 养生, is quite different. Workout will focus more on the muscles, something you can see, something that you really can see from outside. But the Chinese 养生, or nurturing our health or life, is more to make the circulation better. And also, it's mostly focused on the mind and the heart. And it's for something that's invisible. So maybe this both are important. For the Chinese, food and the medicine are the same. They come from the same place. We eat the same. So if you look at this medicine, can you tell whether they are the medicine or they are dishes? They are of the same origin. So the Chinese took it from the same source, from nature. Medicine is something, for the Chinese medicine, is something that we normally get rid of, like the roots, like the skin. Those are the things we normally don't pay any attention to. But those are the things, they use it to supplement our life, what we lack in the body, and bring it back. And there are a lot of simple, they figure out a way how to, their food have different colors. I wish I have more time to explain. Different colors, we say, at least they have 5 colors. I just say something about 2, like for the heart. What is good for the heart? Evidently, what color do you think is good for the heart? Red. What color is good for the lung? White. And what color is good for kidney? Genesis chapter 1:1. What does it say? In the beginning, then? Keep on. And then darkness, right? Water, darkness. That's where the kidney is. So kidney, for what is good for the kidney, dark. Dark color is good for the kidney. So very natural. You want something good for your brain, something look like your brain. Nuts, look like your brain. You want something good for your stomach, lung. And long leaves, roots. These things are good. They learn just by study the nature. They want to find out how God put all of these things there so to nourish our life. And for the Chinese, very popular, the Chinese medicine. And they use this observation. They palpate your pulse to see where you have a problem. The Chinese only study what is the normal person. They try to bring you back to normal. So they can tell. They can tell by your pulse. And if you hold yourself in the morning, and you will see. And morning is the best time to check on yourself. Sometimes if it's peaceful and forceful, and then that's good. But sometimes if you have to push really hard, and then you failed it, then something is wrong. But they can, not only that, you can also at your tongue. And if you look at this, and normally the normal tongue is the first one there on the first. If you have, I noticed now I lived in tropical area for more than 10 years. Most people in tropical area, if you look at your tongue, and it will be white. It will be some white coating on it. Why? Because you have a lot of fruits, you drink a lot of ice stuff, and then there's a lot of dampness in the body, which is reflected on your tongue. So if you have a white coating and pretty much on your tongue, you know that you got enough dampness. You need to get rid of that. Otherwise, you will suffer from it. If you have like that one on the very end, you have a crack on your tongue. It's indicating there's some heat inside. It's burning, and then there is indeficiency in your tongue. But if you have a purple tongue, your tongue looks purple, it means the blood is somewhere gets stagnated, and you have a blood stasis somewhere there. So, and if your tongue is kind of swollen, big, swollen, it indicating is there some deficiency, a yang deficiency. Energy is not enough. And we also look at your eyes. The Chinese look at the eyes, they see eye is not only, God does not give us eye to look outside. Eye is also the vessel that we can look inside. Through the eyes, we know what's going on in the inside. I'll just give you one example. If you stay up late, what happens to your eyes? Become red, right? Yeah? If you don't sleep well, is that red? You have less white and have more red. So in other words, your health condition will be reflected in your eyes. And they have learned a way to tell all of those things. And many Chinese, they have moxa and to burn, heat themselves. And then some of them would use this cupping. Have you seen this before? Yeah, if you have a pain, you really don't know how to move. If you fell and do something, or you do some cupping, and pretty soon that the circulation will become better. And also there are acupuncture, needling. And the people wondered, why they do this? I just, why they tell this? Well, normally, how do you buy watermelon? If you go to the market, how do you buy watermelon? Well, you look at it first, right? You look at, the color, you look at, and then you hold it, and then you palpate it, right? And sometimes you shake it. I have a way to look. I hold the button, and then the up is there. If I tap, and I feel the moving, the vibration, that means there's a lot of juice in it, and that's ripe. If I pat it, I feel the strength, the force is going down, there's no vibration. That's not ready. Believe me, trust me, I am a farmer's son. I worked in the field until I was 33, every year. Every year I go back and help in the field. So, same way, when the Chinese look at a human being, they don't need to do some experiment. Their hand is a vessel. They can look, they can hear, they can smell. These are the ways they can tell enough what is happening in you. But you don't need to take a sample to go to the lab and to say, this is how much sweetness and that. That's another way to look at it. The Chinese look at, how many of you remember your baby when they were born, your children when they were born? Ugly, right? The first sight, very ugly. But then every half an hour, every few minutes, the face just change. The ugly face, the wrinkled face start to change. Becomes something like this. In less than a day, they're beautiful. But not the first moment, normally. They were in this water for 9 months and coming out, not good. Now, what difference did that? What difference does that make? What made the difference? Oh, come on. What made the difference? Why ever just half an hour, they start to change? Air. The air comes in. Now, from where does the air comes in? Not only from the nose or mouth, also from the skins, everywhere. Once the air comes in, then they are filled up, the face starts going out and looking nice. You know, this year I start to look at myself. I used to have a chubby face, but, you know, this is starting to have a hole, and I know the air is dropping. I'm, you know, getting old out there. 60, so old enough. If people, I think in the modern days, most people are familiar with the modern medicine, but are not very familiar. Even the Chinese, you know, we don't know much about Chinese medicine. I mean, I normally just go to see a Western doctor most of my life. Hardly ever see Chinese doctors. So we really don't know much. But if you compare, there are a lot of differences. I'll just give you one way to show how the Chinese treat the problem. And this illustration doesn't come from me, so don't think I'm that smart. They say if there are mosquitoes, one way is to buy some poison or chemicals and to spray to kill all the mosquitoes. But another way is say, hey, there's a trash there. The Chinese way say, let's clean the trash. So the environment for the mosquitoes is gone. So the way that Chinese treat the body is that all these diseases is here is because we provided an environment for that. If you can change the environment, then things can be better. So they don't change. If one fish gets sick, they don't put medicine to treat that fish. They say, oh, why the fish gets sick? If this one gets sick, and I put a medicine, also get others get sick. So think maybe the water has some problem. So let's treat the water. Once the water is treated, and then everything becomes okay. So the Chinese way is always treating the root issue, treating the environmental issue, treating the whole body all the time. They don't treat just the one single place, because one single place is connected with the whole body. And these are just some of the pictures. The Chinese, you don't see big pharmacies out there, because the whole earth and heaven and earth is the pharmaceutical companies for the Chinese medicine. The manufacturer is God. And so you just use it. You don't see big hospitals out there. Why the Chinese medicine have thousands of years? They don't have big hospitals. They don't have professional nurses. Home is the hospital. You get sick not because you have the what is the word? I forgot how to say that. But not only the outside factors, but it's also internal issues, your emotions, and that's also your lifestyles. And the Chinese medicine, another name for it is called the art, the skill of love. 人心人术. A loving heart with a skill of love. That's the Chinese medicine. Without love, no Chinese medicine at all. So they know that a patient needs to be attended with love. So who could be the best nurses? Of course, family members. They can attend, they can meet their emotional needs, they are cared for. So you don't have professional nurses in a traditional Chinese medicine, because you are supposed, as family members, are supposed to be the nurses, caregivers. Now, they say, to promote all these years, throughout the history, the one slogan among the Chinese medicine is that 人人治医，天下无疾. In other words, everyone a doctor, no diseases. That is they always, Chinese medicine has always been public health, always, always. So you can go and find that many Chinese, they don't know a thing. They don't know how to read. Like my old sister, she's 20 years older than me, 80 years now, amazing, still black hair, not white hair. My mother passed away 96. Maybe we have some longevity gene in the family. By the way, my hair is also original. To say, if there's no disease, it doesn't hurt me. If there's my medicine become dusty and no one buys, it's okay. I will be happy. So this is giving you some of the pictures. So the question is, where did they get the wisdom of this medicine? And, well, there is a book, it's called Huangdi Nei Jing. It's called Huangdi Inner Classics, Medical Classics. Huangdi was one of the Chinese ancestors. The earliest, we call ourselves Yan Huang Zi Shun. Yan Di and Huangdi are the two ancestors that we consider to be our very forefathers. And he called one of the men who is Qi Bo, and as a king, his primary concern is how to help people to get well. He said, look at my subjects. They have to pay taxes, and they got sick. Is there a way, a simple way, a natural way that can get them well? That was his question. So that triggered the dialogue and the conversation, and that became the medical classics for the Chinese medicine. That is how it started. Now, this was given like 4,200 years ago, so it's a long time ago. And they focus on how to help you to be healthy. So let's just take a little bit to see what this book is all about. Why the Chinese medicine are still here the same way. We still follow the same principle as is laid out in this book 4,000 years ago. No change. No need for any new development. No need at all. You just follow the same principle. And the first one, and actually the book says this is coming from God. And then God revealed that to the ancient teachers, and then they passed on to one to another. So that's how it came. So the medical classics says this is, the whole thing was inspired, was given by God himself. Now let's just see. The first chapter, the question that Huangdi asked, ancient times, why people can live over 100 years? This after the flood, okay? After the flood. The Chinese consider the length of time, we call it 天年, the age, the length of life is given by heaven is 120 years. What do they get it? Well, do you remember in Genesis chapter 6, God said that, since you are thinking everything is violence, my spirit will not fight with you forever, but you will have how many years? 120 years. So the Chinese take that as the probation, the length that's given by heaven. So we call that 天年. So tenth of it is 一甲子. Tenth of it is 一折. 五折. Half of it is 50. Once you reach 60, this is the age because you reach 50%. Then you can celebrate your birthday. But before that, you should celebrate the birthday to your parents. And the Chinese say, 儿生母苦. A child is born, mother suffers. So every birthday is a time for the children to show gratitude to the mother, to the parents, rather than become a small king and a small princess to be the center, to get a gift or something. That is not what it's supposed to be. But when you reach 60, then you can celebrate your own birthday, because by now you should have children and possibly, luckily, if you are, you have grandchildren. So then you can start to celebrate your birthday. So he asked this question. You say, why those people in ancient times, they can do well. But today, at his time, the people living in half a 100 years, I have already many friends and classmates died already. He said, now their movements are weak and feeble. Is this due to the difference in times, or is it because people today do not know how to nourish their health? Good question. So Qibo, this is the master, and he started to say, those people who understand the way of health, they understand Tao. Tao in the Chinese, for the Chinese, if you know Chinese, Tao is everything. Tao is the creator. Tao is his law. Tao is the truth. Tao is his word. And Tao is everything. So I have no way to explain. So those people know the Tao, and it says they know how to harmonize their health, maintain their health. And this is the ways in the very beginning. Today, for the people in this church, we know the health message, 4,200 years ago. The first message given in this book is health message. How to live a healthy lifestyle. Let's take a look. It says, the first one says, 食饮有节, means what you eat and what you drink. You need to have temperance for what you eat and what you drink. Second one is talking about 起居有常. It's not only talking about when to rise up and when to lay down, but it's also talking about, this is a figurative way, because Chinese do not want to talk about sex too openly. We try to avoid that. I can still remember when sexy, this word come on the newspaper. What a shock. What a shock. How could this closed door thing come on the newspaper? When I was young, and I was really, but now everyone trying to be that way. So that is also saying you must have, your sexual life needs to be controlled and not too much. And then you need not do overwork, take too much presumptuous work, overdone it. And in this way, your body and your spirit in a good form, and therefore you can enjoy 天年, you can enjoy the life that heaven gives to you. So this is how they start with this, and the notice is in here. It's not so obvious, but yesterday, a couple of days ago, I visited a gentleman, and his daughter said her father can tell the difference. Even in Singapore, the difference of different seasons, they can tell. In different seasons, you should have a different way to eat, to sleep, to dress, to work. Because spring, summer, fall, and winter, these are all different. The atmosphere, the weather is different. Therefore, you should cope with it. Live a life according to the changes of the weather. You have to also change. And so it says, the wise man's life must also follow the 4 seasons, avoid cold and heat. This is the human body should obey the laws of 4 seasons, of a yin and a yang, cold and heat, and in order to live a long and healthy life. I don't know whether you know what is the weather, what is the temperature of a well in summer. Probably in Philippines or in Singapore, you may not know. But in China or like in America, in the places you have clear 4 seasons. What do you think the water in summer in the well, is that hot or cold? Cold. Why? It's because in a summer, let's start with winter. The sun just pulls the energy, the same. Whether it's spring, summer, or winter, or fall, the sun gives energy. It is the same to this earth. But in winter, all the energy, all the heat goes to the ground. So therefore, the air above the air, the earth, it becomes warm, becomes cold. So the well in winter is warm. The water in the well is warm, very warm. And then spring comes. So the air from the heat from the earth start to goes up, to rise up. So this is the time, with this rising, this is the time for the seed to grow. Now, if you sow things in summer or in winter, it will not do it. It will not grow. Can you put a seed in your refrigerator and hope that after months it's going to grow? No, it doesn't work that way. So the heat starts to come out, and so the seed starts to grow. When it comes to the summer, the heat goes up completely out of the ground. So it's in the air. So summer becomes very hot. But down there, there's no more heat, so the water is cool. So the Chinese say, 冬暖夏凉. The water in the well in the winter is warm. In summer, it's cold. Now, if it's very cold in summer, what do you think you should eat? We have a saying, 冬吃萝卜，夏吃姜. Ginger. Ginger is kind of hot. So in summer, you should eat ginger. So create heat inside. So to balance it. Because inside is cold and outside is warm. You put ginger, so it's balanced. In the winter, you put 萝卜. What is the 萝卜? Carrots. Radish. You should eat radish because inside is warm, outside is cold. So you should eat radish. So it's always, when we think about the food we eat, we consider about the environment we're living in. It's not simply just this body. Now, quiz. Hot water, cold water, what are you drinking today? Are you drinking? Which one you think you should drink? Cold water. The right water you should drink is warm. Now just think a minute. Your temperature down there, what is the temperature? It's higher, right? When you urinate, is that cold or warm? Warm. But if you put cold water into yourself, is that cold or warm? Cold. So once the cold water comes down, and it will bring down the temperature in the stomach. So the stomach temperature is going down. Then the kidney have to lend its energy to your stomach to warm it up. So when you urinate, it's still warm. If you keep on doing it, then your kidney will be hurt. Simple like that. You want to hurt yourself, keep on drinking cold ice water. Oh, Agendas. My wife likes this one. Ice cream. You know, after a meal, you eat all of this, and it will stay there. It's not going to go anywhere. So your spleen system starts to be bad. Now, the Chinese tells you how you hurt yourself. Look at this word, 痛. How would you have pain, 痛, on the body? This Chinese word say, you put winter into your body. You put cold stuff into your body. And gradually, it will hurt you. You will feel the 痛. That's it. Oh, you people say, come on. People say, we have to eat all of salad. Hey, hold on a second. I live in America. I know. Those people are hairy people. How much hair do you have on your body? You're Asian people, right? You stay outside with the hairy people. He got a shorts there. You put, like me, I put even pants there. Still got a cold. He's okay. Our body constitution is different. Simple like that. Why is keep on moving? I'm not doing anything. So basically, we need not to. Is that automatic? No? Oh, okay. So the Chinese say not only you shouldn't take too much cold stuff to hurt you, because it will take your temperature. I'm using the simple language. Basically, look at it this way. Chinese medicine applies the laws of physics. Look at the energy, hot, cold, this kind of thing. Western medicine maybe is from a chemical perspective. Moleculars and atoms, ions, small thing. So you look at things a little differently. So the Chinese just say hot or cold, like that. And so they also say 肥甘厚味. They said the food, if it's too oily, too sweet, and this food you shouldn't eat. It's going to hurt you. You know, it's not, these are the food you should try to avoid. You know, deep fry, and milk, cheese, tea, and beer, cold food, and all of this. This is just the Chinese doctor teaching you this. This is going to create dampness in you. And the dampness eventually will either come out like edema, or you have a B syndrome, like you know, on your leg or somewhere. You will feel the pain out of that. I know and not only the food, but it's also, they say, you know, the spirit. Spirit is important. Chinese, when you see people, and sometimes we do this, right? Yeah, we do this. Especially when we face our senior. Why we do this? Well, once you do this, what do you have? Because there's a hole, there's emptiness there. In other words, I'm trying to empty myself for your instruction. So it's a way to show respect. It is also a way to show that we should have our mind not be completely filled with things. The Chinese think, you know, the usefulness of the room is not depending on the wall. It's depending on how big is the emptiness in it, right? Like this one. It's not this outside, but it's this, the emptiness inside decide the function of this vase or something. So they say it's the same way. The usefulness of a person is decided by how much empty space you have in your heart, in your mind. Oh, that's deep, isn't it? That's deep. And if your mind and heart is buried with yourself, you're useless. So the Chinese is always saying we should empty ourselves. We should not be a fisherman because they sell fish. And so the mind, the heart is another way. These are just some of the ways the Chinese think. Another way is to control your emotions. And Chinese think, and we also know that by experience, if you get angry, which part of your body become red? Your eyes, your nose, your face. So anger means the qi goes up, right? When you get angry, goes up. Anyway, whatever that is, it goes up. So it's reflected on your face. But if you're scared, what is the direction? It's going up or going down? It's going down. And sometimes people even scared that they lost control of the urination, right? This is going down. And if you're laughing, ha 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 ha, ha, what happens? You just don't have strength anymore. Have you seen people when they pull the rope and they laugh and then pull? No. Have to concentrate. But when you are really sorrow and be in a sorrowful state, you're more concentrated. So when you have different emotions, the body function to different directions. If I explain in other forms, it might confuse you, but at least the worry and the anger, the fear, the shock, the sadness is all going to affect your body. How the vital force in your body, which direction is going to move. It's going to change that. Recently, I watched a small program that they say, short program. One teacher, one Chinese teacher, only 51 years old, he was so happy with a group traveling, and he was so happy, he was smiling, laughing, gone. His vital force loose, it's gone. Have you had the experience? Sometimes you are trying to find a restroom, and you couldn't find, and you try to go home, and you can hold it, right? Until you reach your door. You try to open your door, get the key. You can't control anymore. Because your emotions, your nerve, all of this is moving the vital force in the body with different feelings. So this is a great part in the Chinese medicine. And now again, another principle teaches us that the best doctor is teach you to prevent disease, 治未病. When the disease hasn't come, to prevent it, this is the best doctor, superior doctor. The medium doctor is when the disease is about to come, then they treat you. But the lower class doctor to treat you is that when you're already in sickness. And that is the lowest degree of doctors. So the Chinese TCM is trying to teach you to prevent it. That's the best doctor. Every single person should be the best doctor for yourself to prevent it from happening. So that is the concept they're trying to teach. Now, we already mentioned where does this come from, and I want to show you right here. This is the Chinese words from the medicine book. It says, 此上帝所密先师传之也. This is the mystery revealed by God himself through the masters. This is what it says. If you have a question, yeah, this is what it says. I cannot answer. So now let's take a look. Then what is the foundation of Chinese medicine? Now we have to make a distinction here. Traditional Chinese medicine is different from classical Chinese medicine. Just like Christianity, Christian churches in general are different with remnant church. Or Christianity is not the same with Christianity in the Bible. Does that make sense? Christianity in practice is not the same with Christianity as in the Bible. Agree? Okay. Chinese medicine in practice out there. All kinds of Chinese medicine. Some good, some bad. It's not exactly the same like what the classics teaches. So if you want to find the true Christianity, where you should go to the Bible. If you want to find out what is the true Chinese medicine, where should you go? You go to the Chinese classics. Don't judge medicine because one doctor did it this way. Same way like you cannot judge Christianity because one pastor, one church member did it this way. No. There is the classics there, and that is where the standard is maintained. Now, the modern medicine teaches us the body, if you have a homeostasis, the body is healthy. Yeah, kind of a dynamic balance. And this concept, we have a similar concept in the Chinese understanding. But the way they explain it is a little different. I got a picture here. They're saying there's two forces in the body. Yin and yang is in the body. They're in the perfect harmony. then you got this good health. Now, what is this yin and yang? This is, I think many people have a question. And when you heard the name of it, and many questions, you immediately think this, wow, this cultic language. Let's take a look. All right. The way that the people have not only have problem with the yin and the yang, they also think they may have some other problems. So let me just lay out a little bit more here. Chinese medicine study living person only. It does not study the body, the dead body. It does not study dead body. It does not generate any understanding about the human being from the dead body. It generates the understanding about the human body from a normal person, a person who in good health only. All right? So here we got two blooms. One is the bloom without air. One is the bloom with air. Are they the same? No. If you study the dead, this one without air, how do you see? There's no space in it. If I tell you in the bloom, there's a big space in the bloom, you say, you look at this dead one, there's no. It's like this. But the real bloom is like that. Okay? You see the difference? Now, the Chinese, let me say that again. They talk about meridians, the body, to tell you how the things flows, work. And another way to look at the body is anatomy. There's more on the dead body. Do you think the dead body and the living body are the same, or there are maybe some differences? Yeah. You remember the little children? The baby, when it was born, no air. Oh, everything's crunched, and it's wrinkled, everything. But when it's alive, it's different. So they did it the same way. In our body, if it's alive, there are things going through. So, like the face is popped up because the air popped it up. Now I'm getting older, and my face is start to shrinking and sinking. And later, I think it will sink more because it's losing its air. So there's used to be big space. Now, because I'm getting older, that is shrinking, and the flesh and everything is getting closer and closer. That space is gone. But if someone is totally dead, then just like the bloom, like the tire, is flat, no more air. The flesh and the bone, everything just together, no more space in between. You understand what I'm trying to say? The body is not, the body has a lot of open spaces, but that is only when you are alive. But when you're dead, those just getting together. You couldn't find them anymore. So therefore, when the Chinese talking about the meridians, talking about the points, it's talking about when people are living with this air going, circling like that. But when the people is dead, you couldn't find it because all the flesh are just like the air is gone in a balloon. You couldn't find it. So you do an anatomy, said, I couldn't find this because it's a dead body. It's different from the living one. So one is doing the study based upon the body that God made before the breath of life is given. One is study on the body when God gave the breath of life. So one is a dead Adam, one medicine. Another medicine is based upon the study of the living soul with the breath of life in it. Now, the breath of life, I need to emphasize this point. Dead body is cold. I mean, everything just stick together. But when the breath of life comes in, it comes in not only with a kind of a Chinese called qi, breath, to puff it up, to make it bigger, just like the baby. Oh, all of a sudden, the face become no more wrinkle, it's smooth, getting better. But also it's shining, because everything coming from God is shining. How much shining? The Bible say, this is what the Bible said. For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, has crowned him with glory and honor. So the heat, the breath God gave to Adam is so warm. Not only bring a cold body alive, but this body is shining. And that's glorious. They covered themselves. But when they sin, the shining is gone. They become naked. Before they were covered with shining. Now we have a close experience when Moses went up to the mountain. When he comes down, his face is what? It's shining. It's shining. So how did they get this idea, yin and yang? How did they get this idea? Where did they get it? All right, let's take a look at about creation. I think in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. Within 6 days, he created everything. On the seventh day, he rested. This is basically the creation week. Now, then you have light and darkness divided. Then you have the second day, you have a firmament, division of water. Third day, you have dry land and the sea, grass, trees, and the fourth day of sun and the moon. The fifth day of fish and the birds, and then animals, male and a female, man and a woman. Now let's just take a look. How this is the creation, right? You look at it. Light, darkness, heaven, earth, land, water, sun, moon, masculine plants, feminine plants, male animals, female animals, man and a woman. How did you categorize this? How did you categorize it? So you can categorize it as category A, or the other one as category B. But this basically summarizes God's creation, right? This is how God creates. The Chinese summarize it, categorize it as yin and yang. This understanding comes from the creation directly. This wisdom is so powerful. Today, you have cell phones, you have computers. Where did they learn this binary system? They learned it from the Chinese yin and the yang. So that applied to the computer language today. 0 and 1, yin and yang. That's all. Believe it or not. Like it or not, that's a reality. That's the truth. That's a fact. Everyone is using it. We get just a fraction of God's wisdom of yin and yang. And then it changed, the whole world is changed. We're using it every day. And this is just happened to be yin and yang. I can give you one example. Last night, I'm sorry to tell you, I ate some durian. Every fruit, you have yin and yang. Yang means something going up. The smell goes out. The smell is coming up. But not only you have smell, you also have the taste. The taste is yin. The taste is going down. Now, if this durian is not so obvious, I give you another one. Pepper, chili. Chili, right? So the chili, the smell goes up. So your eyes become red. Your nose become red. But the taste going down. Your stomach become ache and your bottom become hot. So everything, you got this yin and yang. Because this God's creation happened to be the Chinese founded. So they categorize it using the word yin and yang. But this directly comes from the Bible, come from God's creation. And so if you look at this, I quoted the Bible. If you read it this way, this is how you read it. You know, yin and yang, day and night, yin and yang, heaven and the earth, yin and yang, sun and the moon, yin and yang, male and the female, yin and yang, man and the woman, yin and yang. You say, why the Christians never read it this way? Because they're not Chinese. Simple. Because Chinese were exposed to the original revelation of God before the Bible was written. They had this knowledge from God before the Hebrews had it, before it was written down in the Bible. So now we can have a better appreciation. So now you can go back and read Genesis with the Chinese perspective. You'll find it, wow, this is so amazing. Not only time, space, and creation, creature, everything in the yin and the yang. And as a matter of fact, this is God's way. Yin and yang is God's creation. Not only in creation, the rule of creation, but it's also about health. Yin and yang balance, then you are healthy. If not, you're dead. And not only that, about the plan of salvation is also the cooperation between God and man, yin and yang. Yin and yang summarize not only creation, but also redemption. How about a personal spiritual growth? It's a cooperation of the Holy Spirit working in us, yin and yang. So yin and yang is the principle of God, summarize creation, redemption, personal growth, everything. No wonder why Satan hated so much to try to confuse Christendom. So this is cultic. But reality is he doesn't want us to understand the Bible. Doesn't want us to understand we have to work with God. And another principle is always yang takes the leadership, yin follows. Like the earth follows the sun, the moon follows the sun, or the son follows the father, husband follows the wife follows the husband. There is a right order there. I guess, my 1 hour is up. Can I take a few more minutes? Just finish it. Okay. I know Singaporean is very particular with timing. So now, in the Bible, it tells us when God created us, the difference from a dead body and a living body is because of the breath of life. Yeah, that's it. The breath of life. Without the breath of life, you're dead. So therefore, when we die, the spirit which God gives goes back. So it is the spirit of God, the breath that's moving the blood in our body, and moving the whole body. And therefore, what is the most important thing to nurture your health? And men should say, 无善养无浩然之气. It's saying that he said, I'm skillful in nourishing my great spirit. But this great spirit can exceedingly great and exceedingly strong and nourished by rectitude without injury. It fills up between heaven and earth. It's talking about we need to have, this is the way to say, filled with the Spirit, filled with the Holy Spirit. This is just a Chinese way to say that. This is the way that we can be healthy. So you not only for our cultivation, not only physical, but also spiritual. Both needs to be there so you can have a good body. Now, the Chinese, I will just show you a couple words to show you the Chinese word. What is the food for us? These are the Chinese 2 words for food. Very simple. The first one, on the first line, it means anything grow out of the earth. That's the food. Second word, you see something is down, is a cow. If the cow is falling, don't eat animal. So food is composed of 2 words. Things grow out of the ground, and no animal eating. That's Chinese 2 words. 食物, food. What you eat, what you shouldn't eat. Very clear. So the Chinese culture is emphasizing about this vegetarian style. 树养, nurtured by the veggie life. This is now, if you're nurtured by the veggie life, this is actually the character. This is your quality of life, your character. 素养. Those who understand Chinese know what I'm talking about. 素养 means 这个人很有修养，这个人 is well educated, well mannered. That's because he was nurtured by veggies. So there is a connection. And then it's 树质树芽. So all of this centered about the Su. He said, this is the one. He said, did this come from the mouth? And the disaster is coming out of the mouth, what you say. So it's not that diet must try. Diet must try will have a problem. You have to exercise temperance. Yeah, you have to, exercise temperance. This is a do, got to be there. Otherwise, if you eat too much like a mountain, then this is the Chinese character for cancer. You will have a problem. We say the breakfast is for the nourishment, the lunch is for strength, and supper is for doctors. And in other words, if you eat too much supper, you'll only pave your way to see your doctor. That's all. And so, the last one. So, when to eat? The Bible said, blessed art thou, O land, when the king is the son of nobles and the princes eat in due season, for strength and not for drunkenness. What is the due season? When is the good time to eat? Anytime? Or where can we find the guidance from the Chinese characters? Now, there is one science called chronobiology. Chronobiology is talking about the reason in the human body. They found out there are two types of reason. One is 24 hours, and another is weekly reasons. This is discovered in the 1980s. Now, the main person is Dr. Horberger. He's a professor in University of Minnesota. As you can see, he passed away in 2013 at the age of 93. It's pretty long, 94. He lived a long life. He discovered the reason, 24 hours and 7 days cycle in the human body. Then he founded this new science called that chronobiology. So when he have done that, he came to China, he promoted his new science, his new branch of science. When he finished his lecture, this professor stood up. Say, we thank you, Dr. Holberger, and thank you for coming from America. In the 1980s, China just opened, not like today. Go back. He said, unfortunately, this is not a new invention. For the 24-hour cycle, we knew this 4,000 years ago in the Chinese medicine. For the 7 days cycle, at least we know that for 1,800 years. So why you say this is new science established by you? Oh, maybe in America, a country with only a short history. But look at this. The Chinese say this is the cycle. This is in English, it's easier. I will just point out a couple of them. Like from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock in the evening is the gallbladder is working. From 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the morning is the liver is working at its best. So this is the time you need to sleep. So the gallbladder and the liver can work and you can have a good blood. By 3 to 5, the lungs start to kick. The lungs start to move so that the things can push the large intestine. For 5 to 7 is the large intestine start to move. Then you need to answer the nature's call. That's the best time to do it. By 7 to 8, this is the time for the stomach to work. This is a good time for breakfast. But if after this time you start to eat, it's not very good. And you can understand this very simple. Before 12 years old, if you're little children, you can put a little children in any country. He can learn that language very naturally. Only a few months because the timing is there. But if you put a 30 years old person in any culture to learn a new language, expect him or her to learn it in 3 months, come on. The timing is gone. when it's the best time, it doesn't mean that you cannot learn, but it means the best timing is gone. So for the 24 hours, the body also has its own system to work. You need to follow this. And Chinese has been teaching this for over 4,000 years, blind to the many people who don't know this and thinking they have built, established a new science. But it's good that they can prove it from another perspective. Another cycle is about the seventh-day cycle. Every seventh day, the body works. In this book, Sanghan Lun, I'm not going to explain, but it's right there in this book. So the body works for every seventh day. Seventh day is another cycle. So this is the proof. It's recognized in the Chinese medicine. And this comes from a much earlier book to say every seventh day is a course of heaven. The course of heaven is every seventh day. So to and fro goes the way. On the seventh day comes the return. This is the course of heaven. This is the earliest record of the Sabbath outside the Bible, even before the Bible was written. And so I just show you some of this. And even today, you study the animals. All the animals for the pregnancy is in the cycle of 7. Like egg to chicken is about 3 weeks. I don't want to ask the question to embarrass you again. I asked it last week. Singaporean doesn't know how many days does it take for an egg to become a chick. 21 days, 3 weeks for an egg to a duck. 28 days, 4 weeks. So the biologists, they find all the animals, the pregnancy is in the cycle of 7 days because God's print is there, 7 days cycle. So therefore, the 7 is the day. This is the time that the Chinese says, this is 6. 6 is the time in the house you have 2 people. That's the 6. 7, this is the 7. 7 is like this. This is earth, this is heaven. 7 is the day heaven and earth cross each other, communicate. This is 7. And this is home. Home is when the 7 is in the home. You celebrate at the home. So when this is the Sabbath, the 7th day, it is the time to communicate with heaven. Now you can exercise your qi or your muscle, but the Chinese says the highest nurturing health is your heart, nurturing your heart, yang xin. Now, the Yangxin, you follow the 7th day cycle. Every 7th day is the best time to nurture your heart and your mind. And for those who want to have a healthy life, the Chinese medicine is pointing the way. And the Bible is giving exactly the same way. Heart, the Bible said a merry heart does good like a medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bone. When you have a merry heart, you can have good health, like good medicine. The Chinese say, 养心为上. So the best medicine is to nurture your heart. And how? When? Every 7th day, according to the Chinese medicine. 7-day cycle. And it is exactly the same, like the Bible said, the 7th day Sabbath. It is a time for us to rest. And not only that, God has given us not only a body ever freshing, but He promised to give us a new heart and a new spirit. And this new heart and new spirit can take us from here to eternity. Thank you so much.